Welcome back. Welcome back to another work week. This is At Home Fitness with Coach A, the YouTube channel. We aim to bring you guys in gym quality coaching and workouts for your at home and garage gym needs. Now, back on it Monday. It is day number 183 of our free at home programming through this YouTube channel. Monday, September 14th, here in Northeastern Ohio. And we are going to be finishing up our cycle, or at least our recorded work cycle, of our strict eccentric pull-ups today. So that is going to be the first piece, 3 to 5 rounds, 3 to 5 reps of a 4-second eccentric focus strict pull-up, 20 band face pulls, and a rest after that as you see fit and needed. Now, I've gone over this several times before. This is literally the fourth week we've done this, so I'm going to keep it short. I will demonstrate the same stuff again in the garage after this so you guys can see it, but keep in mind we should be building up. So if you haven't seen many gains, so to speak, from the last couple of weeks, I want you to push it a little harder today. Try and get that extra rep, and let's see what happens. Next week, we're going to be testing some stuff with our strict pull-up capacity, and I want you guys to have some confidence, and I want you to measure yourselves a little bit going into that test. Second piece today is going to be a 15-minute alternating EMOM. EMOM, E-M-O-M, stands for every minute on the minute. Therefore, alternating means every minute on the minute we alternate between different movements. 15 minutes, three movements. Therefore, we're going to be doing 5 rounds each. Simple, straightforward. I want you to push yourselves on the pull-ups, so we're going to hold back a little bit of the intensity today, but that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. First minute is going to be 5 wall climbs. Hold your stability. I'll demonstrate in the garage in a second. Quality over speed. There is a decent amount of pacing today, so you don't have to worry about that. Second minute is going to be 40 seconds worth of a suitcase hold on one side. So kettlebell, dumbbell, even barbell technically, whatever you want to hold. Standing, I will demonstrate in a second, holding on, let's say, the right arm for 40 seconds. You should have 20 seconds of rest. Going into the left arm hold for 40 seconds, followed by 20 seconds of rest before we start those wall climbs again for the second, third, fourth, and fifth round. Now, if we can hold for 40 straight seconds, I will take that every day, all day. If we cannot, let's try and keep those holds even as much as possible, meaning if I do 40 seconds on the first round on my right and I'm not capable of that on the left on that first round, obviously when I get to the second, I'm probably not going to be capable of that on the left. Give yourself a target, something to try and hit on the other side that is reasonable but also challenging, and then push that side for it. All right, we don't want to end up with 5 rounds of 40-second hold on one side and 5 rounds of 25-second hold on the other. That's just going to take our imbalance, our obvious imbalance, and start making it a little bit greater. All right, stick around. I will demonstrate and provide you guys with some modifications in the garage gym.
Alright guys, so this is the continuation of the strength work that we're doing with our eccentric strict pull-ups, and then pairing that with the band of face pulls. So again, making sure we're focusing on the correct tempo, which is going to be a normal pull through going up. I'll demonstrate in a second. Normal pause at the top, meaning it doesn't have to be a sustained pause. Really just kind of looking for a second for you to set yourself, set your breath, and then get ready for the descent. And then 4 seconds coming down in that eccentric range of motion, as we have been doing and we're going to continue to do. 3 to 5 rounds and 3 to 5 reps a round. The band face pulls are going to be 20 reps at the end of that. Again, choosing the number in the moment based on where you're at for that set. So ideally we're going into this with a mindset of, I'm going to do 5 rounds, I'm going to do 5 reps each round. But if we run into an issue, run out of energy, run out of strength, we have that buffer. We can come down to 3 reps, maybe even 3 rounds if we're really getting sloppy and getting beat up. Keep in mind, you can put as much rest into this as you want, specifically after you do the banded face pulls, but obviously if we're getting in the neighborhood of needing like a solid 5 minutes rest to be able to keep going on our pull-ups, then we're kind of past that point of getting better, right? That's basically just diminishing returns. So the rep that I'm looking for, again, is going to be a strict pull-up, palms away. This isn't a wide grip, this isn't a narrow grip, this is a normal just outside the shoulder grip. I'm going to do a regular pulling motion going up, take a breath at the top, and then I'm going to try and smoothly extend myself down for 4 seconds. Keeping in mind it's not a slow and then drop at the bottom half, it's a smooth full extension. Alright, and then as always, if you guys need to come down and hop back up in order to maintain that movement quality, then that's what I want you to do. Movement quality is number one here. We're trying to get stronger, we're trying to get better at the movement. We're trying to develop the right muscles that allow us to get better at the movement, not simply just get through reps. Now again, as we talked about before on the face pulls, essentially this is a trap builder. I want you guys to think about flexing, maybe even like horizontally shrugging those traps back into a tension position. In terms of coming at this from the side, elbows should look like they're even with the shoulders, possibly even higher. What you should not see though is you should not see me shrugging into that movement. Everything should stay down on that same horizontal plane, simply just flexing back or shrugging back into the movement. And again, if the wrists hinge because of that and drop down at a different angle, that's fine as long as we're maintaining the position of the arms and pulling back into the traps the correct way. We talk modifications for our continued work on our eccentric strict pull-ups and our band face pulls. For the pull-ups, the first modification here is going to be, if we're not strong enough to do the pull-up, but we have a bar. If you guys have a band, if you have something that allows you to do the concentric, the up part of the pull-up, that's fine. You're basically going to do everything the same way, okay? If you don't have that and can't do the concentric part of the pull-up, then I simply want you to hop yourself up there or step yourself up there and still try and control that down range of motion. Alright, in which case we're literally just doing the eccentric part of the movement, not even the concentric part of the movement. If we don't have any of that specifically, we don't have a bar or something to pull ourselves up on, we have a couple different options. As you guys can see, I have a set of rings over here I can do ring rows with, or a TRX strap. Obviously that's going to make it a little bit more of a horizontal pull or an inverted pull as I diagonal myself down. I can always take a barbell, stack it on a squat rack, lay back and pull that way. I would like to keep this a body weight movement if at all possible. So before you go to using any weight or doing a bent over row or supported row or anything along those lines, let's try and do this body weight, even if it turns into that horizontal movement from one of the rows, simply because I would rather see you guys controlling your own body weight than controlling an object, okay? Now, for the band face pulls, we don't have a band or, no, let's just go if we don't have a band, because anchoring, we can always probably find something there. So, in theory, we can do that face pull for one on a lat pull down machine or something along those lines. Obviously, you guys can get those double rope straps and pull them apart. Theoretically, you can do it with light weights. And again, when I say with light weights, I mean very light weights, like in the 2.5 to 5, these are 8s, might even be too heavy kind of range. In which case, you're going to set yourself in that bent over position and go through something that is very similar to a banded face pull movement. Now, if we do not have a way of making that happen, meaning the weights that we do have are too heavy, we just can't get them into position, the modification, whether it is a bar, light bar, or dumbbells, is going to be an upright row. When you guys are doing the upright row, what I do want to see, what I don't want to see. I do want to see the traps engaging behind us and creating a little bit of flexion back here. Notice I can do that without raising and shrugging my shoulders up into the air. So an upright row is something that's going to hit our traps, but it is not something that is going to pull our shoulders out of position with our traps. Okay, it's a very important distinction. In which case, if we're modifying either with these with weight, I probably want you to bring the reps down from 20 to probably something more in that 10, maybe 15 range, depending on how heavy that weight is.
Stay tuned for movement modifications.
Alright, so let's talk about the workout piece today, which is going to be our wall climbs and our holds. I'm going to go through the holds first, because the wall climbs are going to make me breathe pretty hard, and that's going to be a little weird trying to get into this afterwards. So, we're a single side hold, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. My focus is feet under hips, trying to maintain as straight and vertical of a spinal position as possible. Shoulders set back a bit, but strong armpit. Okay, weight sitting just outside, lower than my pocket, so just kind of next to my hamstrings. And most of the work is being done in the opposite oblique. For some people, probably gonna feel most of the work in the forearms and the grip, or maybe even the backside of that shoulder or trap, depending on where our weaknesses lie. Remember, when it comes to holding and controlling this, the focus is to try and keep myself as straight as possible, not to lean away from it or to over adjust, if you will, and try and push the shoulders over into it and flex that oblique down. Okay, we want to be able to hold our bracing position. That's something that should help us get stronger for bracing heavy loaded barbell movements. Now, right arm, 20 seconds off, left arm, 20 seconds off, back to my wall climbs. So with the wall climbs, I want to go through modifications for this aren't really going to be an issue. You're still going to be holding weight. I mean, if it's too late, you guys can always go for the full minute or something along those lines, or you can feel free to walk with it if that's something you do. Modifications for the wall climbs are likely going to come within range of motion. If it's anything other than range of motion, let me know. There's ways we can modify with different pieces of equipment. But specifically, with range of motion, we're adjusting the degree to which we go up on the wall. So what we're looking at here is starting ourselves chest down, hips down on the ground. I'm going to pick my head and chest up first, reach those feet up on the wall. This can be our first modification range of motion. I can walk my hands back a couple times. That could be my second modification range of motion. And then finally, I take myself back to the wall in a vertical position before coming all the way down. Now, you might notice that my position on the wall possibly looks a little different than your position on the wall. So when I get myself to the full range of motion, I'm essentially here. I am not here. If you're somebody that takes your belly button to the wall, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. The only thing I'm going to say is I do not do it, because once I pass this line into this position, I have essentially allowed myself or required myself to break down out of position, in which case I have to regain that to come back down, or the whole reason why I'm doing this in the first place is to try and strengthen something that stays in position. So it doesn't make much sense to me as why I should touch the wall if that's going to essentially be the opposite of what the movement's intent is. Now I understand competitive environment, there has to be an end range of motion. That's fine, that's a little different. That is a sport, that's not necessarily a workout. Sacrifices possibly need to be made. You can argue that back and forth, but that is a different thing. So, 15-minute alternating EMOM, 5 of those wall climbs, scale back rep-wise, or scale back range of motion-wise if you need to. 40-second hold one side, 40-second hold the other.